Hi guys, I'm Josslyn,
Hello, I'm Ian.
and today we're going to be reviewing, drumroll please, Kung Fu Panda 4, the fourth one.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay! Okay.
Okay, so the summary of this movie is Poe, who is played by Jack Black, must train a
hmm
new warrior when he's chosen to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. However, a powerful shape-shifting sorcerer sets her eyes on his Staff of Wisdom. Teaming up
Ooh.
with Zen, who is played by Aquafina, Poe discovers that heroes can be found in the most unexpected places. This movie received a 71 from critics and an 85% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, which isn't very high compared to
hmm
the other Kung Fu Panda movies. This movie costed about 85 million to produce, and the rest of the Kung Fu Panda series was around 150 million. So that's a really big difference. So I think this is why it's hated on so much. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that everybody said was this movie was like not really good, obviously,
Mm.
because of the character development, and they expected a lot more from this because of the previous three films. So, do you think that like the character development was well or just the same?
I'm gonna have to agree with the general public here because as much as I do love Kung Fu Panda, I was a little underwhelmed with the plot, but again, with something that you said, I think that the comparison between the other three films was just too much because those three were just way too good. And I think the comparison just wasn't quite fair.
Yeah, definitely. They also added on that it had like a lack of depth of the
Uh-huh.
like kind of plot. So, do you agree with that, or that's just some nonsense that they spit out?
I'm gonna agree with that as well because in past movies we've seen like big supervillains like Tai Tung, and then we have like their whole backstory and we feel their pain, and they have a lot more depth than the chameleon we have as the main villain this year.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about the chameleon, a lot of people said, like you said, it's
hmm
a very uninteresting villain and has like basically no backstory at
hmm
all. So like, I know that you agree with that, but is there anything else you would like to say about this chameleon?
Yeah, I'm gonna just add a few sentences because I think that the scriptwriters did their best, honestly, to tie together all of the characters and villains from the franchise. They really didn't have that many options, but once again, yes, I do think they could have deepened the character a little bit or provided more context. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. But honestly, at this point, I think I've just watched too many Kung Fu Panda movies. I can't even tell which one's which anymore. Like when I mentioned Kung Fu Panda 4, I didn't even remember which one was which. So like I mixed up the chameleon one with like Poe finding his dad
Uh-huh.
or something. I don't really know. But yeah, I mixed those up a lot, surprisingly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, also something that the people did say was that it was like rehashing old themes and like bringing them back from, you know, previous movies and stuff. So do you
hmm
agree with that, or do you think it's just like a whole new theme that you've never heard of?
Okay, I'm gonna agree with that because I know I'm just agreeing. But this time I genuinely agree with the public for this one
Okay.
because because I think they did reuse lots of themes, but I think for a different purpose than many of the audience thought. Because I was kind of seeing and I was watching this and I was like, I think they're trying to tie in just everything from the franchise. So yes, I think it is cliche, overused, if you will, but I do think, I do very much think that they were trying to tie it up and just end it off with a big bang. What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, to me the theme was just I don't know. Yeah, like you said, it was kind of basic,
Uh
but
huh.
like at this point, I feel like it's because it's hard to think of new themes after you use so many in previous
Mm-hmm.
like series and stuff. So I feel like it would be harder for them to find a new theme to talk about. while still like tying it into like the previous movies. So
100%.
yeah, I don't really blame them for reusing it, but I mean, then again, it's something you probably expect from a new movie, including Kung Fu Panda, because it's like such a
Yeah.
big movie. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Okay.
read off. Oh,
Oh,
you want to
okay.
go
One
or
more thing before you talk, right? Okay.
okay? Okay, all right.
A lot of people said that the movie felt rushed. Like
Mhm.
it was a really short movie and it like didn't have a lot of time to get produced, I would say,
Mhm.
as of people describing it. So, do you think it was more rushed or do you think it's just like any other movie you watch?
I think as a viewer, I did feel like it was a bit rushed compared to the other movies. Not because, like, I think they packed it with too much action, but I think they tried to fit too much of the storyline in there, and they tried to pack up so much into such a short time frame. But the movie itself, I believe, is quite long, but I think just the sheer amount of, like, things, themes, and characters they tried to pack into this small time frame was the reason I think it kind of felt a little rushed to some viewers.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was like watching it, I was like, whoa, guys,
Mhm.
hold on. Why is it moving so fast?
Mhm.
Like they're like, oh, this random chameleon we've never heard of just randomly came in from this movie, and now we have to go beat her. Like no
Yeah.
backstory at all, and I'm just like, hold on, guys, gotta slow down a little bit.
100%. I'm like, okay, like I see Shen, he's in his villain arc. He's like, I want my home back. Like he's trying to take his home back. Like if I were robbed and I was homeless, like I'd be like, give me my home back. And then I see Tai Tung,
Literally.
like he's being in prison for like the most of his life and he's just chained down and he's coming back for revenge. Like I see that. And then I see Kai, another villain in his villain
Mm-mm.
arc. But now I'm just seeing like Chameleon, like I want to rule the world. I'm here. No one's gonna stop me.
Yeah, she has no backstory at all, so I didn't know where she came from at all.
Yeah. So I think that was just like the big hole in the plot.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So I'm gonna move on to like some critical comments from different critics. I'm gonna read three. All right. So
Okay.
Brian Lowry from CNN says, while it doesn't reinvent the wheel, Kung Fu Panda 4 maintains its trademark humor and heart. My favorite. And then next, David Ehrlich from IndieWire said Poe's charm still carries the film, but it's time to move beyond predictable arcs. I have to say, I do agree with that one. And then Kate Erbland from Collider says that new characters bring fresh energy, but the villain lacks the gravitas of Tai Lung or Shen.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the third one because I completely agree. Like you said
Yeah,
earlier, this woman just came out of nowhere. Like she just like appeared, said,
100%.
"Me, I'm gonna rule the world. No one else because I'm really cool. I have the staff of wisdom." Like what the heck is that gonna do?
Like they just
You
said
already know
copy and
there's like
paste.
exactly, and like they copied and pasted it with like no personality at all. This
Hmm.
person, she's just pure evil. She has like she's pretty cold in general, and has like no personality at all.
Yeah.
Unlike yeah, unlike Tai Lung and Kai. I'm like, hello, where's the personality? Mix it. Come on.
Like add some seasoning to that cold turkey.
Exactly. Chameleon in this case, bro. Oh my god.
Do you think Aquafina as the fox kind of added to like the humorous part or the value of the movie entertainment wise?
Yes, I do. Oh my god, I love the fox. When I first saw her, I was like, this fox is it. I love her. I don't honestly. I feel like she was obviously she's one of the main characters, right? But
Mhm.
I didn't think she carried that much because I feel like we're all just used to like Poe being the main character, so we were
Yeah.
all like laughing at him, laughing at his jokes. But
Mhm.
since Zen was first introduced as like the bad guy in this case,
Mhm.
and then ended up being a good guy, I feel like that just kind of contradicts. So like I don't really. She didn't
Yeah.
carry it, but she did add on to like the humor of the whole movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
do I do remember seeing her in the trailer and I'm like, "Is that Aquafina?" And I'm like, I am busting into theaters the day that it drops. And I was like, "Okay, this was okay. Like not worth my 20 bucks, but it was an experience."
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I'm gonna get into like some strengths of the animation that I found online. So it says the animation, it does maintain the franchise's stylized blend of traditional Chinese art and cutting edge CGI. Like I was pretty surprised like seeing like Kung Fu Panda 1 coming to Kung Fu Panda 4, like they kept up pretty good quality, I can't lie.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I feel like it's because panda is just like the Chinese animal. Like the first thing you think of when you think of panda is, oh, this animal is from China. Honestly, I don't know if it's just me. That's the first thing that
Uh-huh.
pops into my head. So I think they kind of just have to keep the Chinese like culture around the whole film.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, the next thing I found was the humor and heart. Poe's timing and lovable like personality really like came to life throughout the movies. Like I truly appreciated Poe as a character. Like honestly, if they were to put Poe as some other kind of main character, I'd be done watching like after Kung Fu Panda 1. Like
yeah.
all right, and then the last strength that I found was their action sequences. So I feel like in lots of their movies, they really kind of utilized their like different terrain. So like especially in Kung Fu Panda 4 where they like use different terrain like the castle, different like troops and like the bamboo battle. Like I think they did a great job sifting between these different types of action scenes to make it not like bland, aka the chameleon's personality.
I agree. I agree.
All right, so I'm going to talk about some like deeper themes that I found as well. So I do think leadership and legacy, that is one because it's Poe kind of learning to transition between like I'm the star to kind of taking a back seat into the
Yeah.
kind of leadership role and being a mentor to a new student. Like I actually remember the scene where he's like the fingers pointing at me and I'm like, "Poe, your time is over. You've had 3 full-length movies. I think we're done here."
Yeah, I agree. Cause like honestly, before that, like before I watched the movie, that was all I
Mhm.
could see on my like TikTok for you page. They're like, "Whoa, the Dragon Warrior, it's me!" I'm
It's
like, "Okay, Poe, you need to calm down. You had whole 3 movies about you, and it's time for you to back up. Like, there's a new star of the show."
Yeah, that's right. And then the last thing that I found was kind of the identity and the belonging side because I think during this movie we it kind of explored Poe's journey to finding, his retirement, finding his place after having his many adventures, of course. Like that was fun, but he's kind of opening this new chapter in his life. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I feel like obviously Poe, he's gonna move on. Like,
Uh-huh.
he's not gonna be stuck on it forever. Like, ah, I lost my title as the Dragon Warrior. I'm heartbroken now. I can't move on forever and ever. Like, he's obviously gonna get over it. And I feel like since okay, this spoiler alert. Zen does become the new, the new
Uh-huh.
Dragon Warrior, basically.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, since they were like so close during the movie, I'm pretty sure it was like kind of expected that
Mhm.
Poe would choose Zen as the new leader. But like, I don't know, maybe people just didn't know. But like, I find it
Yeah.
pretty obvious because they were so close during the whole movie.
Yeah, it kind of ties back to the thing where it's like, yes, like it's cool, but stop using these generic like plot twists because we all know what's happening
Yeah,
next.
exactly. Like, obviously, the bad guy's gonna turn to a good guy, and then
Mhm.
it just goes on from there. I don't even know anymore.
All right. And then I'm going to list, these are my last things. Okay. I'm going to list like kind of the 3 areas for improvement that I found while watching the movie, like the comments, looking at the trailer and everything. So, my first thing would be the villain development, especially in the plot. The critics found that the antagonist was kind of one dimensional, as we talked about like many times over this session, that it's not quite as deep or doesn't have as much emotional feeling to their backstory like Shen and Kai did.
Hmm.
So I do think that's something they could 100% improve on. And then the second thing was the originality in the plot. Not only were the plot twists kind of generic, um, we knew what to expect next, but also the mentor to student arc feels kind of recycled because like 1, 2, 3, 4, like in your face, like student teacher, student, teacher, student, teacher, student, teacher. So I think that kind of using a new concept would be a little helpful. And then number three would be balancing the humor and drama. I know we talked a little bit about this. You know, I love Poe's funny side, his humor, his heartfeltness. But I do think that the comedic timing at sometimes does take away from the emotional background. Like when they're talking about like my mom's dying, and then Poe just comes out with just this joke that makes everybody's laugh. Like, am I like the only one that thinks that's kind of weird? Like, just takes away from the kind of intensity.
No, yeah, that's definitely weird. Like you can't just randomly pop up during like someone's funeral or something saying, what the but like bro, you can't just do that. Just
Yeah.
crash someone's whole funeral. Bro
Hmm.
did not rest in peace.
Okay. Well, those are kind of like the improvement points that I have. Do you have any improvement points that you think would be nice to share?
I mean, kind of name them all, but I'm gonna give my reasons of why I believe so. Okay,
Okay.
first, they need to work on that villain because that we mentioned this so many times. That chameleon has like no flavor at all, no personality. She just came in and she's trying to like rule the world with some breadstick or something. Like,
Cold
yeah. So work on the
turkey.
villain. Literally, she's just a cold turkey. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So they need to work on that villain.
Hmm.
And second would be to like bring new themes up and not just reusing old ones. Like I said earlier, I do believe it's a little harder to find new ones after you use like most of them in your movies. But like
Yeah.
use some brain power, Think and then you got this. And then my third one would be the lack of like depth in the movie. Cause like I
Mm.
said earlier, or like we said earlier,
Yeah.
the movie went by pretty fast because it was
Hmm.
just like bam, you need to choose a new leader. Bam, there's this random new fox person. Bam, you gotta beat this person. So like, I
Hmm.
mean, there was like no leading events. Like they didn't take their time to explain, oh, this person. They were
Yeah.
from like the freaking like Amazon rainforest or something. Like they didn't explain anything, and all they just said, oh, it's a bad villain, and you need to go beat
Yeah.
them, cause that's what you do in every single like animation film.
Literally.
Yeah, so guys, work on that.
Work on
Take this into
that.
consideration. Yes.
You heard her. Work on that. All
Okay,
right.
guys. So,
So
oh,
to wrap up, kind of like what would you say are like what you get out of the movie, like personally, and how do you feel about like how it ties into all the other movies as like the fourth one in the series?
um, I definitely would say I feel like this fourth one might be a little like overrated and not a lot of people might like it. But
Mm-hmm.
personally, I think it was probably my favorite because I didn't really like the one where Poe met his dad and his dad
Oh.
ended up lying about like knowing how to do his da-na-na-na
Na, na,
thingy.
na, na.
Yes, he lied about that, and I'm like not a big fan of that. But
Mm.
yeah, I honestly don't remember anything about Kung Fu Panda 1 or
Mhm.
2. So like I can't really say anything about those.
Uh-huh.
But like yeah, I mean it was just any other Kung Fu Panda movie. I don't know if you can expect anything more from them. So
Yeah, I think they like tried their best to milk out like as much as they could from
yeah,
this story. Like I appreciate how they kind of tied everything in, like all the villains, all the characters into the fourth movie, like the ending, and they just like stopped it there. And I'm appreciating that they're not making like 2 million movies like Fast and Furious was. No shade, no shade, but
no, no,
no shade at all. But I just think that it was a nice way to like end off the series in kind of a heartwarming way, even though it might be a little over underwhelming, but um I guess it was kind of the end of an era, if you will.
I agree. But like when I was researching, it
Uh-huh.
said that they would come out with the Kung Fu Panda 5. I'm like,
Oh,
why would you do that? Everybody's already hating on the fourth one. Why would you bring in a fifth one that's probably not gonna be like a really good one? It's gonna probably gonna flop because Kung
like
Fu Panda
literally end
also.
it there.
Yeah, like what else do you have to bring? You literally brought over
Literally.
here like no flavored chameleon to rule the world, and she failed.
Like
What are you gonna
nothing
bring next? Like
nothing
a
else
pig?
is going to be brought to the table cuz like they've made four movies, they've made like literal series that they've like put onto Amazon TV. Like what more could you possibly make about Kung Fu Panda? Like love the franchise, but I think we've had enough.
Yeah, I think we're done. We're done here for now. You might want to start a new project or something.
Yeah, well, on that note, love the Panda series, love the Kung Fu Panda series. I mean, like when I was little, I was singing those songs, I was doing those dances. But I truly think it was kind of a big part of a childhood. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but it was kind of a big part in our childhood, and a lot of kids these days. So I'm really thankful for them. But like, I think we've had enough. Like, we're all grown up now.
Yeah, we watched Kung Fu Panda grow. He hasn't even like aged a year or anything. I think it's time for him to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed our little rant about Kung Fu Panda 4.
Thank you. Bye.